No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. We got A-Trak here, and we got a juicer. Oh, there you're back with it. You haven't done that in a while.
I'm back on my air horn.
And we got Pedro, and we got Erin from Shop Jeen. Can I just say a brief story? Is that there's this like really cute mixed girl who works at the fucking corner store over there, and I just went over there. She is cute, right? Can you like drag the mic?
Get up in there.
I already watched one of these podcasts where you were like very far from the mic, so
yes.
I'm not gonna allow
Do
this
not
to
allow
happen.
that to happen again.
That's professional right there.
I'm a podcast amateur.
I'm gonna engineer this shit.
Yeah, Pedro, tame her. Anyway, so like the Broke Boy video.
No, the movie we were just watching on your laptop.
Oh, also that, yeah.
Describe
Erin was showing us the most intense porn earlier.
Erin's like, this is what I'm into.
Yeah, it's like some porn dude she's friends with.
Whenever a porn has a Pyrex graduated cylinder they're filling up with liquids coming out of the girl, it's like a little too intense for me.
Wow.
Scientific.
Yeah, so this girl that I've always thought about talking to, I just walk in, and so I figure like, oh, she always makes a little conversation with her. I figure this is a good time to name drop. I go, hey, you ever heard of A-Trak? He's a DJ. She's like, she said like the thing that everybody says when you ask somebody about a musician and they don't know what the fuck they're talking about, where she goes, yeah, it sounds like really familiar. I think I've heard of him, like that thing. And then I look down and I realize that she's reading a huge Bible, and that she has a bookmark for the Bible that is like made out of yarn. And
If she was reading the Torah, she might know.
I was thinking about that, yeah. But so I was just thinking, I'm like, wow, that completely disqualifies. Like, if she believes in God and she doesn't know who A-Trak is, then I guess you probably aren't going to think I'm cool either, right?
Yeah, you're out. Sorry, bro.
She was really nice to me. She told me she liked my bag.
You're bad.
What you should do is you should read the Bible and then name drop a biblical character next week. And
Right.
Just be like, yo, I'm about to interview Nebuchadnezzar, king of...
She was reading like
Wait,
Acts.
I love step one is read the Bible.
What's Acts? That's what the chapter was on, Acts.
Oh, Acts. There's like different acts
Right.
of the apostles.
But imagine I got really educated about all of them.
Yeah.
I can get you up to speed pretty quick. Catholic schools.
Really, you know
Yeah.
all about
You know
it?
about the Bible?
Yeah, I know about it.
Wow.
That's cool. All right, A-Trak, so what are your religious beliefs besides being at least culturally Jewish?
Culturally Jewish is a good way to say it. I'm in it for Woody Allen and Larry David.
Well, you just appreciate the stereotypes?
Yeah, no, just the humor and you know. I don't practice religion.
Did you grow up in like an explicitly very religious household, or what was that like?
Nah, my parents are pretty casual about it. I did my bar mitzvah, I would say, for my grandparents to be happy.
Right.
Yeah, and then after that, it was whatever.
Yeah, but
When I was even younger, when I was like maybe 11, my parents sent me to like a Sunday Hebrew school thing for like a year or so, just to be like, you can decide if you like this.
Right.
And I was like, eh.
You came away from it like, no, I'm going to scratch records instead.
Yeah, pretty much, because about a year later, I was scratching records.
And the two just don't agree with each other. You can't be destroying a record and also learning about God, I guess, right?
I guess you could,
You could.
He
theoretically.
doesn't speak Hebrew at all.
At all.
No.
Do you?
I tried.
You tried?
Yeah, I'm not Jewish though.
No, I know. I figured you weren't with the
name's
name Pedro,
Pedro.
unless you were converted because of a girl or something. Yeah.
No.
So
It could
how do
happen.
you know Erin? Because I saw you guys hanging out on Snapchat or Instagram, and I was like, hey, A-Trak hit me up about an interview. You should co-host on it and sit really far away from the mic.
Yeah. I know Erin from the internet.
Oh, nice.
And then we met IRL, and then we hang out.
That's the only place where she is on the internet.
She's the queen of it.
Where were you guys when you met?
Well, where did we meet? We hung out like once I moved to LA, when I came out here, just on some like dinner kind of stuff. And
Nice.
I think Erin's really smart. I like talking to her.
How'd you find out about No Jumper?
Pedro told me about it first.
Oh, nice.
And then once it's one of those things where like once you see a name, you're like, oh wait, then
Right. Start
you feel like you
connecting
actually
the
do know
dots.
it already. Yeah.
Yeah, I met him at a fucking Made in Tokyo show where I then got yelled at by Made in Tokyo because I posted a photo of a girl passed out on the ground in the mosh pit. Like I took a photo of it because it looked so fucking crazy, and like at the moment that I went to take the photo, somebody yelled my name, so everybody looked at me, so that made the photo look even crazier. Like everybody's looking at me like I
But you
threw
didn't
her.
post the photo.
I posted it for like 5 minutes, and then he fucking sent me a text, not very happy with me, and
He
then
was
I
on your
deleted it.
timeline that hard.
Angry in Tokyo.
He's the homie though.
He didn't get on the timeline,
And
but
he
must
like
have said,
that situation
yeah.
was kind of crazy too.
It was crazy
Like,
looking.
It was like an EDM festival kind of situation in
Right.
a 400 like people venue. Like so it's
Yeah, I felt but it was in the fucking, it was in that
Nokia.
huge, yeah, but there was so
How
many
many
people
people
there.
were there?
I think it was like almost 2,000 cap or something.
What?
Yeah, it was pretty packed too.
just, yeah, it was really packed.
I guess I'm just jaded because I've seen so many people pass out at shows over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
know,
like
just-
a rap concert like that,
Yeah, it was a lot of the
And,
niggas.
you know,
And for a new
It's probably
artist,
so
you
young,
don't want
though.
to put that out there for new
it was
artists.
like all
Yeah.
ages too, you know.
Yeah,
It's
that's
very
problematic.
weird.
Adam
He's the
doesn't
homie.
have any ethics.
I have no
Anything to go
sympathy,
viral for Adam 22.
Can you ask a question while I go grab my coffee that I forgot over there?
Yeah, let's talk about your relationship, because
Me and young Pedro,
yeah,
Pedro.
what do you want to talk about?
what is the relationship?
Multifaceted.
Yeah.
Pedro is at once my assistant, but also sort of right-hand man, but also groovy dude / friend / ear to the streets.
How'd you
And-
guys meet?
Um,
A long time ago.
yeah, through like, Pedro grew up in Brazil, but he was coming up to New York a lot, and he was friends with a couple of the people who work at the Full School store in New York. So I would just kind of see him around, and he would like come and help me out with some stuff, and then we started working together. And then I helped him out with his DJing too. So it's multifaceted. We're just
My
like,
manager, if you wanna book me.
yep.
DN
Talk to
A-Trak.
call me.
Okay.
You offended by the term bromance?
No.
That's good.
Yeah, why not?
I like bromance.
We're just always together.
I say
We're
bromance
always
all the time.
together.
No, I never
we,
say it.
We think very much alike
Mhm.
as far as like we both do a lot.
Mhm.
You know, like a lot of people in the music industry, they just like they only do music, and that's like they DJ and produce and that's it. But like he's like a very like business oriented person,
Right.
and I am as well. And like of course in like the beginning of my quote unquote career.
Right.
But like just hanging around him and seeing how he moves is like very inspirational. And
What's
how-
his? How would you measure his work ethic? Like how hard a worker?
He works really hard.
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems like you got a lot on your
kill
plate.
myself and work hard as fuck because of it.
Right.
So it's like he works really, really hard, and like, I mean, I'm around people that work hard and in the music industry, but I don't know no one that works as hard as he does and just does as much.
Has it always like occurred to you, even when you were like a kid sitting in your room playing with records and stuff? Did it always like seem obvious to you that you were only going to get into the position that you wanted by just working your ass off, putting in the actual hours?
I guess so, yeah. I mean, I've always been pretty focused and dedicated. So, like, once I discovered scratching, that's all I wanted to do.
Right.
I would just come home from school every day and, like, scratch for hours.
Right.
And just try to learn trick after trick. And then that's, from that, I was like world champion after 2 years. So then
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, I guess this works.
You were
just
like
keep
a
at it.
child prodigy.
Kind of,
Can we
yeah.
talk about what it was like going to those like early competitions? I heard you
Yeah.
talk about it on One Epstein last
Oh,
night,
cool.
but it was kind of interesting because they kept getting bogged down talking about like what you were making beats on and stuff, and I
Yeah.
was like, man, this is the nerdiest podcast I ever heard. And Peter Rosenberg's like warning them like, this is going to be a really nerdy podcast. Trust me.
great, though.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was
but
dope.
it was weird listening to it again last night because I know I listened to it when it first came out, so it's like
Cool.
It's always interesting listening to it the second time years later. But
Appreciate that.
Good.
Yo, podcast, like the rap world discovered podcast this past year.
Yeah.
Now it's like a whole thing.
It has been getting crazy. Rap
Yeah.
Radar and Tax blowing up. You know.
Yeah. I'm a fan of Nori's podcast.
I still have to listen to that, but I've heard him on other podcasts where he was just like phenomenal.
He's
Yeah.
great. The guy's great.
One of the funniest people.
But yeah, I started really young, and what's it called? You were saying like doing those competitions when I was young.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a trip, dude. Cause like, I feel like the earlier battles that I did, I wasn't even thinking about it past like I'm gonna practice and try to do my best and da da da. And then the more I won stuff and the more years went by, the more like the weight of the universe started weighing on my shoulders more. Where I was like, oh shit, if I lose this one, then I'm like the X amount world champion.
Right.
Dude. That like there's more on the line.
So did you start out not competitive and then you like quickly became that?
I think I was competitive from the start, but in a sort of like, let's just have fun and try to kick ass kind of way. Like, oh, let me just see whose ass I can kick. But like not spiteful or, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
nothing bitter, just on some like slightly show-offy, like a little cocky, but just having fun with it.
Because you've come from a really weird era for hip hop that is sometimes like forgotten and sometimes hated upon, which was sort of like the nerdy
Backpacker.
backpacker scene from like the late '90s and stuff.
Yeah, but I'm really fond of it, and like on an entrepreneurial level, I'm extremely thankful that I came up in that day because there wouldn't be a Fool's Gold if I hadn't come up in the indie hip hop years.
Right.
Because I started another record label back in the earlier years when I was still in Montreal called Audio Research, which, that was in the era of Raucous and Fat
Right.
Beats and all that kind of stuff.
But
And,
was
like,
that your shit?
yeah, it was
Right.
me and my brother, and like that's where I learned the DIY ethic. That's when it became ingrained in my head that if you want to press a record, you could press a record. You
Right.
know, and this was still in the major label days where most people thought that you had to get a deal and have a lawyer and and have a budget be open. And then we were just like, nah, let's just call the record plant and press it.
Was like major label hip hop almost like off your radar? Like you weren't even thinking about that shit?
No, I wouldn't say that. I wasn't like, I know that in the in those like in the backpacker years
It was
there
so segregated, kind of.
It was a kind of a dichotomy. Like the underground was in reaction to the fact that
Right.
those were the Puff Daddy and Mace Shiny Suit days.
Very much
But I
so,
love
yeah.
Puff. I would listen to his records too. So I would like stuff on both sides, I guess.
Right.
But as an indie label, you still have to figure out how to like structure a deal, right? You can't just be like, we'll just put your record out and give you whatever percent, right? Don't you have to kind of, we're going to do one record and an option? Like, how do you figure that
Yeah, there's still
stuff out?
contracts. Yeah.
How
But
do you-
our contracts are simple. Our contracts are like 1 or 2 pages. Like you don't need to know legalese to
Okay.
read it. Like it's very straightforward. And it says like you own your masters. Like it's very artist friendly. And it says like this is a license to exploit your record to sell your record for X amount of years. You know, we mutually approve our work. This, you know, you retain your publishing. It's really laid out so someone reads it and says, "Oh, cool, I get it. All right, let's do it."
Was it very like what was the transition from you being in that specific world to like eventually making different kinds of music and sort of getting into like a more popular level, I guess?
It happened progressively over time, but I think part of it was the fact that I came up in the battle scene,
Mm-hmm.
and I was kind of fortunate with my timing because my first battles were at a point in time where DJing and turntablism was completely exploding with like inspiration and new ideas. And that was in '97. I won the DMC championships then. I ended up winning 5 world championships by 2000. And by 2000, the battle scene started drying out. And it's interesting. I know you're in the DMX thing, and I watched the 30 for 30 on Matt Hoffman
Yeah,
recently.
yeah.
And it was really interesting to me because similarly, in his scene, there's a
You
whole
were tweeting about this, right? Yeah,
because it's like he was responsible for the whole explosion of the scene, and then the scene dried out, and he was sort of on some like, yo, I'm not done, and he still figured out other ways to keep the thing going. So for me, my battle scene kind of dried out around 2000, 2001, and a lot of my peers from that part of my career were sort of like, oh, I'm going to get a day job now, or like I'm going to go play at the local club.
Were they disgruntled? Was it weird to be
Some
wrapped
of
up
them.
with all your peers just kind of being like, fuck this?
They weren't really fuck this. They were just sort of like, well, that was fun. I remember a bunch of my friends were like, my girlfriend really wants me to get a job. And I was like 18 and I was on some like, yo, I'm just getting started. Like,
But you were doing well financially at that time. What was it kind of like very few people were doing well financially?
honestly, none of us were making crazy money in those years.
Right.
But I was 18. I was like living in my parents' house still. And like
Right.
life wasn't complicated. Life in Montreal is not complicated, period. Like it's
Right.
not hard for anyone.
It's not like LA where you have to be
It's
making
not like
something
New York
yourself
where
all
you
the
have to,
time.
yeah,
Right, yeah.
you know? So, but a lot of my friends were like, oh, I'm getting a job now. And I was like, I still want to play, and I want to like show these techniques, these tricks, all this stuff that we came up with to the rest of the world, because we were kind of playing, we were preaching to the choir, we were playing for an audience that already knew this
Right.
shit. So I wanted to find a bigger avenue for myself, and I went around and did touring and gigs for a few more years, and eventually I got the Kanye gig,
Right.
which really put me on literally a bigger stage,
Right.
and figuratively,
Dramatically bigger.
yeah, just like suddenly I was on like the Grammys with him and the VMAs and VH1 Hip Hop Honors and all this stuff, and even just big shows. The first tour I did with him, we opened for Usher. My first show ever for Kanye, we didn't rehearse. We did a 1-hour sound check, and we played in front of 14,000 people.
Right.
And it was like, okay, I guess we're going now.
But in the interim between like leaving that and then Kanye, did you see any successes, or were you kind of just fed up with it? Were you just sort of mediocre? Like
Neither nor. I mean, I was kind of cruising for maybe 3 years, and I was still kind of in school. I took
Yeah,
a sabbatical
okay.
before university. Then I started university. I was studying honors physics, and I was like going out scratching around the world.
right.
There was a bit of a weird patch. There's one year where like I did a few gigs with Steve-O from Jackass because his manager thought I was cool.
Wow.
But that didn't last long. I was just trying to
What
figure
would
out
Steve-O
like
do? Like just staple
They're really
stuff
putting
to
you in your
himself?
box
staple
there.
a nutsack.
That's
Yeah.
a weird box to be in. I'm Steve-O's DJ.
Yeah, that was like literally a month. But like,
Wow.
when it's hard to even explain what that time was like, because now DJing is such a business. There's such
Right.
an infrastructure. There wasn't an infrastructure there. There weren't even DJ managers.
Right.
DJs were just people who went to clubs and played. So I was playing some of the early festivals. I would come to Cali and play like Insomniac events in like 99, 2000, 2001, but those were like illegal raves on Native American reservations.
Coachella, right?
Yeah, the first or second, something like that. Like in 98 or 99, it was like me, Qbert, Razel, and Mixmaster Mike, I
I
think.
think it was the first one.
It may have been.
See, this is what's interesting to me is you get like a lot of people who are in that position where you're in this like hardcore underground scene. People get really caught up in their ideals and like what the values of that scene, what it's supposed to be all about. But you seem like you've always been very open-minded and you kind of transitioned out of that very well to working with Kanye, to doing all kinds of like stuff that's Yeah, you've adapted extremely well, but I'm assuming the vast majority of your peers didn't have such luck.
I've always just, I think I want to like, spread the word, spread the gospel.
Right.
So, and then during the Kanye gig, musically my stuff evolved. I discovered some electronic music that I thought was actually cool for a change, because I used to thought it was really cheesy. And then I was like, wait, well, there's these guys doing cool shit. And then I started producing a little bit, started Fool's Gold, and it's always been this idea, like, where can I take, I've got all this heritage, I got all this baggage, I got that, like, figuratively, like, the whole history of DJing on my back, and I want to just keep taking it to new places.
Right.
And part of the reason why me and Ye really saw eye to eye when we met was that, if you forget current day loudmouth Kanye and like what he's associated with now,
He was the symbol of the underground in the mainstream at that time.
What college dropout Kanye with a Louis backpack and a polo blazer.
He challenged every stereotype.
He was the
time.
dude who, at the time of like synthetic keyboard beats, he's the guy that brought back soul samples and that spirit of like Native Tongues and Tribe Called Quest and RZA and everything. But his whole thing then was that he wanted to take this sort of like quote unquote pure true school hip hop sound and make songs that are so undeniable that everybody can like it, and then hopefully get to the top of the charts and be the biggest artist in the world. He always had that ambition, and now he's just trying. Now it's culture, product. It's on a bigger level, and I love what he does now. But for me, I've always liked that idea of like you come from a pure place, and you make your shit so undeniable that everyone has to like it. So that if you go pop, if you have a big record, or if you just become more and more popular, there's nothing. It's not based on any kind of compromise. It's just based on like doing your shit as good as you can, so that people just like it.
Right. So take us back to the time like when you first like become aware of the fact that you might be working for Kanye. Like, how does this unfold for you? I'm sure you've had to relive this many times.
Yes. I went to London for a gig, and Kanye just happened to be there.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, there was actually most of the Rockefeller crew was there.
You could have been, Beanie Siegel's DJ.
Coulda. Actually, so Damon Dash saw me at this in-store, and Samantha Ronson, Mark's sister, she's a DJ too, she at the time was signed to Rockefeller, to their sort of like rock and roll sub-label.
Wow, that never went anywhere?
That never went anywhere,
Right.
and she was signed as a guitar-playing singer-songwriter, and at first Dame was like, A-Trak, you're going to be Samantha's DJ. And then...
So Dame recognized that you were a skilled DJ?
Yeah, Dame saw me do like a scratch routine at an in-store.
See, I'm surprised that Dame could be impressed by a scratch routine. I don't know if that was necessarily something he would know about. He is, okay.
Yeah, Dame's
well, I mean,
dope.
I know he is, but I didn't know if he would necessarily care about that. That's interesting.
Yeah, but it's funny because like I think some people think that like scratching is this sort of I don't know, just like isolated nerdy thing. But like if you grew up in hip hop, you know it.
Right.
Dame, I'm sure he's been to battles himself. He just saw it. He's like, yo, this kid's nice, and so he wanted me to work with Samantha for a sec, which is, I mean, I knew her anyways, but then Kanye ended up seeing me also at this record store that booked me and John Legend for like an in-store to promote both of our gigs. And John Legend at the time was completely unknown. He was just like the guy who plays the piano
So
at
this
a Kanye
before
show.
Kanye took any... Oh, so Kanye was working with him though, but he was still unknown?
John Legend was Kanye's guy.
Right.
And he, like, if you went to see a Kanye show, there would be John Legend on the keys, Ye rapping, this girl Miri Benari on strings.
Uh-huh.
Like, that was it. It was the three of them. So John was just traveling with Ye. He didn't even have his own song out yet. So he was promoting himself, went to a record shop, did a little thing, did a little performance. I did a thing at that same shop. Kanye's in the corner with a hoodie over his face, just like watching John on some, like, supporting his boy. Then he sees me go up, and I'm scratching this Jay-Z record, and he's like, what the fuck? Like, who's this kid? And
Can you see him having that reaction
yeah,
while
because
you're
the store was as big as my
Right.
left nutsack.
And your left nut sack. So
Yeah.
you have dual nut sacks.
my left testicle.
4 balls.
Revelations.
Wow.
Dear no jumper.
We're gonna have to do another interview about how A-Trak is some kind of like weird next level hermaphrodite or something. Yeah.
Actually, I have 4 testicles.
4 testicles.
That's
2
why you're
sacks.
so
Two
good.
pairs.
That's why he's so good. He's
It's a kind of marsupial, actually. No, the store was really small, like honestly smaller than this area. So Ye's in the corner. So here's the full story. Ye's in the corner watching me, and he's like, I could see him like, we kind of like looked at each other at one point because I looked back and I'm seeing his reaction. I'm like, all right, I'm killing it. Then out of nowhere, Mos Def walks in. Then within 5 minutes, fucking swarm of people walk into this tiny little shop.
You thought you were about to get jumped.
Pretty much. No jumper. And then, so then I was like, fuck, I got to talk to Kanye because I know he saw me kill it, but now him and Mos Def are getting swarmed by British hip-hop
right,
fans.
yeah.
The next day, I had a flight to go back to Montreal. Dame's assistant, I think she liked me. So, like, she kept texting me. And I was like, yo, where can I see these guys? I got to talk to Kanye. And she's like, oh, we have a Rockefeller press conference. So I went to this press conference. And
Where?
This is still in London.
Oh, okay.
We're
You
still in-
hadn't left yet.
Yeah, exactly. This is
Okay.
the next day. I'm about to fly out. Literally, before going to the airport, I bring my suitcase. I go to this press conference. And I'm just waiting on the side, and I see, Kanye, Dame, my boy GLC, I forget who else. And as they're walking out, I'm like, yo, Ye, I'm the DJ from the store. And he's like, oh, shit. And he stops. And we just started talking. And he's like, yo, I want to take you on tour. Have you been on tour? I'm like, yeah, I've been touring for years. He's like, with who? And I'm just like, just me as a DJ. And he's like, no. I'm going to take you like on a big tour. Take my boy Don C's number. And then we just started talking and we made it happen. And next thing you know, I'm on tour with them for 4 years.
Has Kanye ever yelled at you?
Ooh,
No.
great question.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're like, you never messed up at a show for Kanye. And he's like, what the fuck, man?
See, there's a difference between messing up and knowing how to cover for your mess up. There's always going to be a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I've like anything that can go wrong at a show has happened to me, whether it be by myself or with Ye. But like, you just gotta recover quick.
In the sense that
Also
you
in
would.
the Kanye days, like he started using like Serato was developed.
Right.
Yeah.
So he started using Serato in the Kanye days just to make it easier to like actually just get a beat as soon as it was made and just play it on stage. And that was like.
Because you had to tell Kanye about it.
I was the first Serato endorsee ever.
Right.
Serato is actually a small brand a small company out of New Zealand, and I met them at a trade show, and I was like, this is cool. And then like I helped get a bunch of other DJs on it, and then it got really popular. But yeah, I had to explain to Ye, like, yeah, trust me, I'm gonna be on stage with a laptop, and the whole team was like, I don't know, a laptop, it's gonna crash. Like it just wasn't conceivable in 2004.
Right.
But yeah, we started doing it, and then it definitely helped because like he and I would be making edits backstage like 10 minutes before a show. He'd be like, yo, I want to remove the second verse from this song. I'd be like, open up Pro Tools, edit the thing, and then play it. But yeah, beyond that, we just had a good trust. It's funny, like DJing for rappers, sometimes it's almost like this pitcher and catcher relationship. Like you gotta like understand the little signals and shit. Like, yeah, he would do this shit behind his back, and I'd be like,
Really?
oh, he wants me to cut.
Wow. So
Yeah,
it's just like baseball. I had no idea.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
Throw the slider.
exactly.
Or you ever like see them when they're in the corner in like a UFC fight and they're using all these codes to tell the guy like what he should be doing?
Hell yeah,
And
man.
WWE.
Oh, they do that in there? No. What? They
You
really
can see them talking to each other sometimes.
point the mic so it's like straight at your face. Try to pull the cord out a little
No
bit.
jumper where Aaron learns how to use a mic. But yo, Aaron straight
Not a
up,
recording artist.
No.
Aaron definitely helped me understand the value of wrestling, I think.
See?
Really?
Oh, completely.
What is the value?
She can
No.
explain.
Big,
Or
oily,
should I?
strong.
Yeah,
Let's hear your explanation. Yeah.
Okay. I would say that what's interesting about wrestling. Okay, let me see if I remember this right from our conversations. On one hand, the kayfabe, is that what it's called? So like the mix between fiction and reality, and so like all these plots between the characters, even outside of the fights. On the business level, the way the fights are actually run, and the fact that there's fights nonstop around the year and and like the way she told me all this shit about their like sort of pay-per-view app, the way that is run is really business forward. So between like the business developments of the company and all these narrative plots that are between reality and fiction, and these parallels that you could draw between like Greek antiquity theater and like
She
modern
takes it that deep?
meathead
Wow.
Smokes weed once.
fights. It's actually super fascinating. I still have yet to go like watch a. Do you call it a match?
Yeah.
Wait, let me
We don't
recommend.
want to
Did you
offend her
show
with
him that
semantics,
the Hunter Hearst Helmsley Triple H YouTube video about like his whole backstory? This guy made this really intricate
Yes, the
video.
art of wrestling's not wrestling.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That's a
Yeah,
good
so
intro
cool.
video, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't understand wrestling at all. At all.
I totally get it. I would really recommend this article called "Is Everything Wrestling?"
Yes.
That's on New York Times.
to you.
Yes, because they're kind of talking about like in a world like this where everybody realizes what the implication is of everything that they do in terms of the media. That we're all wrestlers in that sense because
In the world.
if I sit here on the A-Trak podcast and I say fuck this DJ. I know that everybody's going to know about it, and some website's going to write an article
which
about
DJ?
it. I don't know any of them. Any of them. Not Diplo, a close personal friend of the podcast.
Shout
but
out Diplo.
Somebody else. Like, we all understand exactly what's going to happen with the media, and that's something that kind of comes. It's similar to wrestling in a lot of ways.
Everything is. Yeah.
Or like, we see it with politics a lot now. Politics is clearly wrestling.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what Alon was saying about kayfabe, it's like think about like the Kardashians.
Get in
and,
there a
like,
little more.
Think about the Kardashians. It's like you don't know what's real life and
Right.
like what's a story.
Wait.
They're
Like,
masters.
are Black China and Rob Kardashian actually dating? Did they ever really date, or is it
Ooh.
all just for a show? It's like that whole like.
I'm still trying to understand what
model.
dating means, even outside wrestling. I'm still
Yeah, let's talk about girls for a second.
okay.
Have you ever got your heart broken?
Don't ask what his current relationship status. Let's just go to
I wanna
the
go
worst
back.
possible moment.
Not,
Yeah.
you know what? I feel bad saying that, but not really.
Did you have like groupies since you won that first competition? Were there always girls just like, oh wow, because you were just so talented?
I guess to a certain extent. I think when I was really young, I didn't really care. Also, scratching is the kind of scene where there'd be a lot of girls that would come up and be like, "Oh my God, my boyfriend really loves you," and then you're like, "Ah."
We all know a lot of like rappers and stuff who are popular, but in such a nerdy crowd that it doesn't really matter. So their
Right.
sex life doesn't really move.
Yeah.
But are you a thought? Would you describe yourself as a thought?
I don't think so.
No. Were you in a relationship?
No.
Okay, well then you're a thought probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a thought.
Did you have a
DJ,
thoughty
so-
phase where you're like, oh shit, I'm on tour with Kanye now with like, I can get a bunch of girls?
It was never really about that. I don't know. I just kind of do my own thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
You seem very respectful with women, unlike 22 over here.
I'm just honest as fuck. I don't blame him for keeping his mouth shut. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
But like wife and kids, is that a goal?
Down the line, yeah, sure.
It could happen.
Yeah.
And they just come on tour with you?
And then they all scratch. No, I don't want a girlfriend to scratch. Yeah, I mean, I guess down the line.
What
I'm-
kind of
I'm
girls
just
do
gonna chill.
you end up dating though in your life? Like,
I still haven't figured it out. Like every relationship is a new test. When it starts, I'm like, okay, this one's gonna work because blah blah blah. Like it's you go through the phases of like, all right, let me try someone in the industry because they're gonna get like what my world is like, and then you're like, okay, that didn't work. Let me try someone who's completely in another world because then it's gonna balance it out.
Librarian.
Yeah,
Exactly.
then that doesn't work. And then you're like, all
That
right.
uses Facebook.
It's everything. It's like let me try someone who's really busy, and then it doesn't work. Let me try someone who's not busy at all. It doesn't work. But I enjoy it while it lasts. It's like little chapters where I'm like, oh, that was cool. That was cool. I'm not spiteful towards any exes. I'm just like, yeah, that was cool.
what's better, being like a guy who's so well known and so popular that he has an abundance of women, that he, presumably too many options, or being a guy who works at Foot Locker that has no options, that has to try really hard for every possible option, such as Roseman.
Roseman has clout. He's online. Like,
Roseman does great. I've seen him do great. Yeah,
I'm sure.
But I'm trying to be the manager at Foot Locker by fall, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a great job.
It could
I heard that
happen.
If you manage a Foot Locker for like 10 years or something, you pay like $20,000 and you can, you give a down payment of $20,000. You can open your own Foot Locker.
you can't just start one on your own. You have to
Goals.
work there for 10
I mean,
years.
because you work there for 10 years and then they allow you to do that.
Yeah.
Seems like a
gotta-
bizarre
you gotta-
litmus test, but okay.
Yeah, that's. Stay in the
Interesting.
sect. The
At
sect
the
of Foot
Container
Locker.
Store, the minimum salary is $55,000 a year. For
Really?
Associates.
What's the Container
I love
Store?
the containers.
You don't know the Container Store? Wait, is that an East Coast thing?
No, they have it.
Okay,
They're
you just
all-
don't know.
Wait,
They have- what is it though? Containers?
You want
It's
to
like
contain
boxes?
If it doesn't
When you
contain
think about
something
it-
we don't carry. That's their slogan.
Yeah. Well, when you think about it, you need a lot of containers in life. Like it sounds,
Go on,
it sounds
continue.
super specific.
Yeah.
It sounds like in The Simpsons when there's the hammock store, like in the hammock district. It sounds like, you know, but like in fact, yeah, come on.
They have like hangers and like.
Yeah, like you can get
It's like
anything
home
from.
supply stuff.
That makes a lot of sense to
You
me.
should go.
I'm super down. Now that you say it's at the Grove, I'm sure I'm just gonna like be like, oh, it's right
Anything
there.
at the Grove
There's
is
a
good.
barbecue
Come
spot.
on, yeah.
And it's
And
so
then-
expensive.
That's what I do.
Oh, it's so expensive. Okay, maybe that's why I don't know
Like,
about it.
so expensive. It's like ridiculous. I'm like, why did I buy this $25?
Yes, we need
Why?
containers.
Yeah,
for this
some
Foot
might
Locker.
say that we need additional containers to
True.
replace this.
Yes.
See, this prints labels, and shirts
I
are sent
know.
out every day with this little
When
guy.
we're done with this interview, I'll just sit here and print out labels.
Yeah.
For whoever.
You can't make juice with that though. I know it looks a lot like this other
Yeah,
contraption.
let's talk about this thing.
Hey,
Not as
transition,
sexy, not as-
segue.
Plot twist.
Pedro's like, ooh, like juice beef. Like I'm hating on the juice thing. And but are you sponsored by Voss as well?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hydration
Wow.
boys.
That's
H2O
cool.
boys.
Hey, water boys. Hashtag.
Sparkling water boys. Usually I drink Pellegrino, but today I was feeling like Voss.
Shout out to our sponsor Lacroix.
Anything sparkling, really, but
La Croix.
All right.
La
there you
Croix.
go.
LaCroix.
Because we interviewed Remy LaCroix, porn star, and that's basically her name, and I'm aware that I say it wrong every time, but
okay.
I'm a piece of shit from America, so that's just how we do it.
I don't expect Americans to say La Croix.
So let's talk about juicing.
E Giussero. Okay. Hey. So, all right, check this out. This thing, I'm like looking at the camera. I'm like Vanna White.
Yeah, it's like
Gotta
just
look at
that.
something, yeah.
I'm gonna look at
Jumper
this
shopping
this
network.
beauty. The Juicero is this juicer that I had to be on a 3-month waiting list to get.
Wow.
You can only currently get it in California.
What's the price point on this?
$700.
799, right?
Was it? I don't know.
Did you give
You
one to
should-
Dylan Francis, or did he just get one?
He copied my Snapchat. It's okay.
You should have told me
fucked up.
like
You're jacking.
$2,000, but for right now you can get 2 payments of $799.
No,
2 easy payments.
Juicero.
Juicero. 2 people who texted me to 3 people who texted me to tell me they were gonna get a Juicero from my snaps. Dylan Francis, Amber Rose, and then my friend Audion, who's a DJ also.
You're a
yeah.
true
So,
influencer.
wow.
Yeah.
Also Simmons, also.
So
jumped in
let
the
me give you
middle.
perspective. When I started using Serato, next thing you know, DJ AM was using Serato, Jazzy Jeff was using Serato, and every DJ. I'm just saying.
Is that real?
Serato,
Juicero.
Juicero, Juicero.
So this thing, all right. So you get these packs in the mail every week. You get these things.
Oh, wow.
All right. You stick them in the fridge because it has to stay fresh. There's a little QR code. If I have an app, a Juicero app on my phone, if I scan it, it says still good until whatever date. And then it makes juice out of this
You
thing.
can't see into it? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've cut
This
it
is
open
the
once it was done. It's just like produce inside.
Right.
Fruits and vegetables and goodness. But it's actual cold pressed juice, so it has like keeps all the vitamins. But it's like if you buy a cold pressed juice at the store, it's like $10. These are like $6 or $7.
Can I see one?
Yeah, so eventually it's worth it.
Right.
But the thing
Ooh,
that's
it's
dope
cold.
is the thing that's dope, we came prepared. The thing that's dope is you put the thing in, you make the juice, then you just throw that back out. There's nothing clean. So for the busy creative, such as
Right.
myself, who wants to be healthy but doesn't want to scrub, you know, like in the infomercial, there's always that scene where they switch to like sepia tone because there's like the unhappy moment. So like I'd be the guy scrubbing the juicer
Wait,
in like yellow tones.
this is like already the juice, right?
No.
Pineapple,
So basically,
romaine, celery, cucumber, baby spinach, parsley,
All that
jalapeno,
stuff
lemon.
is just cut up in there, and that compresses. Like there's literally it gets.
Should we
pulled
make
in the
one?
back
Should we
and
make one?
compressed.
Yeah.
Okay.
All that stuff, and it makes the juice out of that.
But this already feels like juice.
It's juice-ish.
Oh, this is like mush.
Well, see, the
That's my
problem
religion. I'm juice-ish.
when you juice, it's kind of a pain in the ass because like you need a whole grocery bag to make like 2 juices, and it's like. You know, it's kind of a lot of money. Like,
Yeah.
it seems expensive when you buy a juice at the store for like $8, $10, but it's like you have to buy so many fucking
And the cleaning
vegetables.
process is like so annoying.
Yeah, that's why
Can we-
I
can
kind
we
of stopped
talk about
doing
that?
it. Yeah,
By the way, I feel like a DJ starting my set. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna start you guys off with a sweet root.
the red
This is my
one.
intro. All right, so we're gonna make
Where
a
the
juice
cups
arrow.
were-
Is this loud?
Kind of.
It'll be interesting to see how
Oh,
this goes.
so
with
it's-
sound.
Alright.
Wow, look at this.
Damn.
So it had to be on Wi-Fi. So when I got here, I put it on the Wi-Fi.
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
This little camera here grabs the QR code to make sure that it's still fresh. I tried to make a juice that was 1 day past the fresh date, and then it was like an amber light, like.
It wouldn't let
even
you.
It wouldn't let me.
Welcome
because
to the
the
future.
Juicero cares about my health.
The Juicero.
El
yeah.
Juicero. Okay.
That's why I hacked my Juicero for the system override.
I really feel like I'm seeing the
Yeah, can you,
future right here. Look
Whoa,
at this
whoa,
thing.
whoa, whoa! That's what it does.
This is cool.
Yeah, put the cup.
Can you
definitely
can you
put it-
jailbreak a Juicero?
Jailbreak the Juicero.
You'll be the first.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
See, I thought there was gonna be some kind of guts in there.
Jailbreak the Juicero and make like heroin in
For
it.
anybody
or
listening on
something,
SoundCloud right now, we're
You can
looking
make a
at
killing
a
on
juice
Skid Row
machine,
with that.
yeah, go pass it out down there. Yeah.
making a juice out of a bag.
This is so
What is
exciting.
actually happening on the inside? It's just smashing it.
Yeah. Compressing all
There's
this
a thing
stuff.
that- yeah.
You really got to give.
Could you do
A-Trak
it manually yourself
credit
with
for
your
this.
hands if you're?
I haven't. That's a great idea. I haven't tried that.
I don't think so. Because the usual cold press juice, you
Yeah, I
have to
don't
like
think so.
twist the like. Yo.
Hey,
Oh, Juicero!
Whoa.
I like how it's coming out and it's got this little piss stream vibe going here. This is cool. Yeah.
Kind of satisfying looking.
yeah. I have
Very
better cups at home.
Well, you're missing.
It's like a horror movie.
The question is, was that a better liquid explosion than the time that Madzilla opened the bottle of champagne and it sprayed back over her head and landed on the printer? That happened as
That
well.
sounds better.
That was very exciting.
Wait, Juicero is more about the bag than the pressing thing. The pressing thing looks.
No, it's more about like the pressing
they
is
go
what
together.
makes it extremely healthy.
He's my salesman.
You know, I mean, I found the Juicero.
But what I'm saying is, like, you could probably get the same result with like a vice, where you just turn
Yeah,
it.
but like then you have to actually buy all the, you know. The
So I'm saying the
vice.
bag is the most important part.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It's the convenience.
Experience.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure it out.
We,
I thought.
we had a whole marketing conversation
No,
about it the
the
other day.
convenience is definitely the bag.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
everything is ready for use.
And the beautiful machine.
Well,
I
juicing
believe I
is a pain in the
spilled
ass.
like
That's
a
fact.
third of my juice.
No, it's okay.
And-
It looks like
I'll
blood.
get some
It's
paper
cool.
towels. I'll get
It's,
some paper
it's
towels.
organic.
If
Thanks,
it's
Robesman.
expired, it has the camera inside of it, and it like scans a QR code, and it won't let you make it.
Yeah, he just told us that.
Oh, sorry.
But you're over there thinking about CM Punk.
Camera also spies on you.
Right, yeah. Hey, so I bought a scale recently, and they offer it's like Bluetooth. It like can sync up or whatever. But then a pipe burst in my bathroom and destroyed the scale before I even got to sync it
that
with my
sucks.
phone. So
Why was the scale in your bathroom?
because
Most people keep
not a
scales
scale
in
like
the
that, like a scale to weigh myself.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Think about drugs or something?
no, because I saw the scale here.
Yeah. Oh no, that's
Nah,
different.
'cause
People
it's
always think we're mailing out weed or whatever because we
It's,
got T-shirts that we're sending.
It's all those like health apps on your iPhone and shit, right?
Yeah. I haven't really got too involved with it, but it seems cool.
Who's got a Fitbit?
A Fitbit.
I got
No,
one.
Used to.
Can you explain exactly what that is?
It counts your steps.
You use that? You wear it on your wrist or something?
I did for like 2 weeks, but now every iPhone has a step counter too.
Does it?
Yeah.
Go into the health section, the health app.
You go into the health
sleep,
section.
though. I like that.
Oh,
It says
Fitbit
how-
does?
yeah,
finishing
how
up.
many hours
It's
of
it's
sleep
doing
you
something
got,
different
how
now.
many
It seems like it's a different noise.
Yeah, I don't know what that
I
last
would love to
phase
do
is.
a sleep study. you
Oh
know?
God, right? Yeah.
Like at the
Yeah.
Apple Store, you can buy all these like machines that analyze your sleep.
Really?
Get right in the mic, especially while he's doing this.
I've read some things online.
Juicero.
I've read some like things where it's like people get sleep deprivation studies and you get paid like 20
Yeah.
G's, but they don't let you. They only let you sleep in really weird times.
20 G's, you're gonna be in there for like 2 months. I'm pretty
Oh,
sure.
yeah. And they're gonna fuck you up.
No, because I used to know a bunch of broke ass BMX kids who would do this back in the day, and they'd be like dudes who did not have HIV testing HIV medication to make sure that they didn't die or whatever, and they'd go in for like a month straight and get paid like $8,000-9,000, and they're bum ass BMX dudes, so they would then like go travel for 2 years off that or whatever, you know.
Pedro, would you ever sell your sperm?
Why are you asking Pedro that?
Because I don't think
think he's a candidate?
I don't think A-Trak needs the money.
And also, everybody
I don't
wants a
think I
little
need the
Pedro.
money, but I wouldn't do it because I don't know.
He
I
doesn't want to.
wouldn't be
He doesn't
selective
want
of who
to.
I have my kids with.
What about like 100 racks for some sperm?
No.
No.
Oh, so it's like $1 million.
It's a Juicero.
I got a $1 million nut.
I think making $1 million in the current time, it's not an achievable goal. I think it's
You wouldn't jerk off for $1 million, is what I'm asking you.
But then I'll have
No.
to have a kid with like someone that I
It's
might
not your kid. The sperm goes to somewhere else. You don't know where it goes.
Yeah, it's my kid because it's my sperm.
You gonna go find
my
it?
morals might not,
Okay.
Speaking of Pedro's
feel you.
sperm, watch this. Look at how easy this is.
Wow.
Set it and forget it.
Throw it right away.
That's
Perfect.
it. You're done. What'd you say? Yeah, I
just
think
squeezes
so.
it.
Somehow I paid $700 for a squeezer. Yeah.
I want to know what else it's doing besides, because it seems like it's got to be doing more than just squeezing.
I think it's filming me. But
It's rumbling.
Yeah.
It's
It's sending info to the Russian
pass
spies.
this around like a blunt. All right.
Yeah.
The healthiest podcast in the world.
that's
It tastes exactly like when you make fresh juice, except it doesn't have all the ginger in it, which my
Oh,
old
yeah.
roommate used to do. He used to dump that in there.
Oh
That was
yeah,
good.
yeah. That's real juice.
You know, it's juice, all
That's
right.
like real raw live kind of juice.
I'll make another one. Like let's say like every like 30 minutes I'll make one.
That'll be like
Perfect.
$12 at the store.
whoa.
We're about 40 minutes in, so we probably have time for another one.
We'll
at
make
some
one
point.
at the
Yeah,
like
yeah.
finale. The finale.
Oh, the
okay.
finale, yeah. Because
Yeah.
sometimes we do episodes, blunts and burgers, where like we've had different dudes come on here and cook burgers while we smoke mad weed, and that's just the whole episode.
How do they cook the burgers?
Well, I got weed so we could smoke on your episode, right? Do you smoke backwards? Because I know he doesn't smoke or drink,
True.
and I'm pissed. Yeah, you can smoke in here.
Why are you pissed?
No, I'm just kidding. Yeah.
Straight edge gang.
Yeah. Well, now I'm giving Chuck English weed. Wow.
I know, dude. Yeah.
Like, while you were talking about like the old days, right?
I probably should have brought more. We can't actually hear you. If you want, you can grab. Speaking of Rose.
Chuck English, ladies and gentlemen.
Chuck English, you're gonna get a little cameo here. He also has an interview that's gonna come out like the day after this one, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I was just saying about the history that you were talking about and me being around for like maybe 3 years.
You got to
after
get
that.
right in it.
Like knowing you since like 2006, 2007.
Yeah.
Like, look at that.
So yo,
listen.
these guys raised like some like 120 million dollars on Silicon Valley like
Right.
rounds of funding. Like that's why like the way that we found out about it was Pedro found an article in the New York Times about like what's this juicer that raised Silicon Valley money.
Right.
And he sends it to me like, yo, this is like your kind of thing. And I'm like, I ordered it like the same day.
Right. That's crazy.
But I think this technology is gonna like eventually affect all like way more than like sweet beet juice.
The
Like it's
thing
gonna be
is,
way
like,
more.
imagine when you can just buy the packs at the market and you don't have to deal with like you can just like have
Yeah.
5 different juices. They're good for however long, and you can just make them at your house at the convenience. And
Are you going to become like Kanye at some point and start raising like venture capital to start technology businesses? Is this where you plan on going with your career?
I mean, he's raising all the money for Juicero.
I figured the 120
They're not
million was
paying me
you.
a dime.
Yes, you're definitely gonna have like when this shit cracks, they're definitely gonna have to give you like
Yeah,
the
to
DJ
replace.
Khaled stock options. And
Yes, all red.
Yeah. You hit up all your famous friends. Hey, Amber Rose, can I get 100 grand for my juicing idea?
Yo, what was I gonna say?
Oh, you starting technology companies or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, I guess I could down the line. I have like that. I have like a kind of technical mind.
Yeah.
And I just think this is. I've also always wanted to feel like an astronaut, and I think this kind of makes me feel like an astronaut.
Do you think of yourself as an entrepreneur at this point in your life?
I think yes. I mean, but not. I have friends who call themselves inventors, like that kind of thing. Like, what am I going to invent today? Like I think that's a little corny. Like I don't start my day thinking like, what's my business move going to be today? I'm more thinking like, what's some dope shit that I can do today?
Right.
And I guess it ends up being entrepreneurship, but it's that's more the sort of angle of entry that I take. But I never thought I would own or run a store. Fool's Gold's had a shop for 5 years.
Right. Do you feel like, all right, so take your brain, divvy it up into sections of like.
Put it in here.
Right, and put it in there. Let's see what it tastes like. Great idea. Erin likes that idea. She's weird. But divide your brain up into like where your focus goes, because it's like you have your own music, you have everybody else that you collab with on music. You have
Yeah.
Fool's Gold,
Yeah.
like you have the Fool's Gold day off. It's like it's hard for people to manage all this stuff. Like,
Yeah.
where do you find the way to direct your energy?
I wish I knew exactly what the formula is, because I feel like I'm always kind of refining it. But yeah, there's at any given time, I'm probably working on my DJing, which involves like also research of music and organizing my music and practicing, but also producing my own music, doing remixes for other people, running Fool's Gold, which sometimes is like business calls and conference calls and stuff, but sometimes it's also like on a human level, like checking in on my artists, just calling them and just being like, how you feeling? Like, do you need advice? And the Fool's Gold events and everything else. But also, definitely a part of my brain that's just pure curiosity and just like reading articles that I find interesting. And, then I think family and friends are somewhere in there. But
Right.
I think I used to try to do even more. Like, for a couple of years, I had like the buffet platter was like even a little too ambitious, and then I wasn't really finishing anything.
Right.
And then I kind of found a balance where I'm like able to finish stuff and keep it moving. But I don't think I'd be able to just do like two things in
Right.
my life.
What
I
does
don't
your
know.
team look like? Like, how many people are you like talking
Yeah,
to?
because you must have a lot of help.
Besides Pedro. Over here.
Besides Pedro.
Besides Pedro.
My team, I mean, there's my management, which is there's like mainly like 3 or 4 people that I deal with.
So you feel like in terms of touring and stuff, that stuff is sort of out of your hands. You have somebody else handling that, so you don't have to worry.
Yeah,
about all
I mean,
that shit.
it
Probably helps a lot.
I take part in like the strategy decisions every couple of months, and I say yes or no to every show offer, but I don't, there's a point where I hand it off to my manager. They
What's a
talk-
show you would say no to?
I say no all the time. It
Saudi
could-
Arabia.
it's I would say most of the time it's not because the show looks unappealing. Most of the time, if I turn down a show, it's scheduling,
Right.
or it's like scheduling / travel like zigzags.
Yeah.
'Cause at this point in your life,
Once in a while, it's like, okay, it's not enough money, but
Yeah.
most of the time, my agent takes care of that part, and I'm just like, do I want to be touring that specific date in the calendar?
We always
But the
talk-
power of saying no is like the best shit. Like I learned for the first couple of years of my career, I was just saying yes to everything, and once I started saying no, I was like, okay, this is great now.
because you get paid a lot of money for a show, but it's also like, oh, sit on a plane for 18 hours, go there, do this real quick, and then
Not just that, but by the way, when you start turning down shows, you start making more money too,
Right.
because you're not accepting every offer. So you're only accepting the ones that are where you want it to be,
Right.
and then that dictates your worth in a sense. And also just on a sort of like wellness level, you're just
Yeah.
doing the shit that you want to be doing.
How have you seen like the rates for DJs getting booked go up like over the years?
I mean, in the last, like the EDM explosion happened around 2011, and it's skyrocketed since then for sure. And it even sort of like bounced back down a little bit in the last year or so because
that's the
that
buzz
bubble-
now. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
EDM is dying. Do you
Yeah.
buy into that at all?
I mean, to pull a Bill Clinton, it depends what you call EDM. Like you can get sort of semantic about it. I think electronic music at large and DJing isn't going anywhere, but I think the one type of caricatural sort of commercial main stage EDM DJing and music is that the demand for that has died down. Do that again?
The one hand up guy. Big room festival.
Yeah, that because everybody started doing the same thing, and it just became kind of a farce. Like literally, it became like a soap opera.
Right.
Like electronic music became like hair metal for a little while, and then it had to sort of die. Like dudes were making power.
But
power
do you feel like
ballads
you've almost been like reduced?
with fans in their hair?
You think like a certain percentage of people have kind of like reduced you to that stereotype and like kind of forgot about all your heritage, what you do with Kanye and stuff. And for a while, it's like, look at this hot dude that plays records. Like, let's give him a shitload of money to stand at our club in Vegas.
No one thinks I'm hot. No,
Gotta
I
be
don't.
Somebody.
I hope not. I don't think so. I think most people know at least a few of the things that I do. I definitely think that a lot of the people who know me don't know the full range of what I do or the full history, but I'd like to think that they know a couple of the things. Usually it'll be like, oh yeah, duck sauce and heads will roll and Kanye, Fool's Gold. But then, then they'll be like, oh, but I didn't know he also did that. But at least they know a few of the pieces.
It's almost kind of like overwhelming with you because it's just been so many different types of things for such a long period of time that it's like, damn, you couldn't even really expect the average fan to really comprehend like your story.
Well, also you're so humble with all your stuff, and you're not
Yeah.
really out there like bragging or like putting on really. So
Right.
it's always kind of been low key. But that means I feel like you've never. Did you do that intentionally to not get overexposed? Do you worry about maybe that ever happening or?
Well, like, did I not over brag?
Yeah, or is that just how you are?
It's just not in my character.
Yeah.
If anything, if there's one thing that I did at one point in my career to kind of like put things in perspective was around the time that I got the Kanye gig, I had been DJing for about 10 years at that point, and I wanted to kind of like tell the story. And luckily, during all my, DJ competition years, I was filming a lot of my shows and even my practice time. And so I was just carrying around a little hi-8 camera, and I was just filming everything. A lot of scratch DJs used to do that. Scratching is really similar to like skateboarding culture, or even BMXing, I'm sure. Like just kids filming their tricks
Yeah.
and just learning trick after trick. So I made a DVD that came out in 2006 that showed what I did so far. And I remember kind of part of the motivation for that was like, yeah, have more Juicero if you want.
Yeah, you gotta hit this blunt though.
No, what I'm saying.
You should dip the blunt in the Juicero.
Oh, we're smoking on that beet juice.
Lord of mercy.
Like that would make it better. Like it's wet now. Let's smoke it.
People like dip blunts in like lean and shit.
Yeah, but then they let it dry and shit.
Let it dry.
Let it rain. I clear it out.
You want this?
But I feel like around that time when I got the Kanye gig, I was aware that was going to be such a big sort of highlight or statement in my resume that it might eclipse a lot of the hard work that I put in for close to 10 years prior. So I put out like this sort of like auto mockumentary thing, this like sort of lighthearted DVD thing that showed a lot of what I did so far to kind of be like, yo, this is what I did to get to this point. It's on YouTube. Sunglasses is a must, is what it's called. I didn't put it myself on YouTube, but some nice fella ripped it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So anyways,
Talking about like real DJing, so when you're performing on a scale like 1 to 10, like what's the amount of effort?
on
and,
a scale
like,
of 1 to
skill-
Juicero, sorry.
What's the amount of effort and skill that like you're putting forth as opposed to like other DJs that are just kind of like for show?
I don't know how I would quantify that, but I would say that
5 Juiceros.
okay, there's a few things I could say about that.
I think also DJing for you is so much like more effortless than to most DJs, you know?
I mean, I started DJing before my voice changed, like, and I did this every day for so many years that it definitely, I think it's the easiest thing that I do to me. But I will say this, because I think a lot of people think or sort of assume that because I scratch and I do like a certain type of like hip hop inspired, turntablist tricks, a lot of people think that I'm a technical DJ and other people aren't. And that's true for certain cases. There's a bunch of lazy DJs out there.
Name some.
No.
Me and Adam.
Yeah.
But
Laziest.
I just want to say that there's certain types of DJs. Some of them are techno DJs, whatever, who are very technical in their own way, in a way that's not the sort of like hip hop heritage. I've seen dudes play on like, whether you watch Carl Cox play on 4 turntables and mixing 4 vinyls at the same time, which is hard as fuck, or seeing like a guy like Boys Noise play with a bunch of CDJs and running loops and effects and, approaching it more like using the CDJ as a production tool within the DJ set. I watch that and I give them props too. I use turntables and I scratch. It's like we each have our own approach, but I don't think my way of DJing is the only skilled way.
Isn't DJing like 90% song selection, reading the room, feeling what to do next?
A lot of it is, yeah. I'm the first to say that all the time.
That's where we bond.
Yeah.
You got to play the bangers.
Not even that. You have to have an identity. You have to have an identity
Right.
with what
When
you
people
play.
go to an A-Trak show, they know they're going to hear
Yeah.
certain key songs mixed in with.
Or they're going to hear just my style. Because I think people have a sense of what my style is, because I handpick stuff from a bunch of different genres. So I'm going to mix some house and electro with some hip hop and some trap and do my own transitions and scratch and all this stuff. And it's always kind of funky and like that whole thing put in a bag and shake it.
It's
That's
more than just like the technical side
Yeah.
of things, just like seeing him. Like I'm probably the person that's seen him perform the most.
maybe my brother saw me more, but yeah, you're getting close.
But
Yeah.
it's just like there's a sense of like curation
Right.
that's as important as like the technical side of things.
Well, the thing is, as a DJ, thank you, Pedro. The thing is, as a DJ, you want to find this middle point where you don't want to be too stubborn with your own agenda. Like everybody has an agenda musically. You show up at a party in your head, you're like, I can't wait to play this song, that song. That's
Show
your
up
agenda.
all fool's gold only.
Well, I was gonna say part of that too. So there's a few songs that I'll want to play just because I thought it would be cool to bring them out, or maybe there's a new song that I just downloaded that I can't wait to test out. Then there's songs that I champion, which are fool's gold records or just records by my friends. But if you show up, you still gotta rock the party, and
Yeah.
like you need to also acknowledge the crowd. So it's finding this middle ground between keeping the crowd happy, which like the crowd thinks they know what they want to hear. But sometimes they don't realize that there's other things you can play them that they'll enjoy that they don't know yet.
Right.
And then it's finding that balance between, it's a give and take between giving them what it's this trust thing where it's like, trust me, I'm gonna play this shit. It's gonna be dope. Trust me.
Following versus
And then
leading.
you give them a little doggy treat of what they think that they know they want. And then I used to have long conversations with AM about this because AM, when he was alive, he would play in certain settings that usually are kind of unforgiving. He would play these very commercial parties where typically those crowds are kind of bitchy, to put it bluntly, and bougie and difficult. And AM would figure out a way to show up there and play a fucking Public Enemy record, or or do a weird mashup or scratch, where most people at a party don't want to hear scratching, or they don't think they want to hear scratching. But if you do it in a clever way, they're gonna be like, oh shit, my man. But if you ask them 10 minutes earlier, if you're like, yo, do you want to see a scratch solo? They're probably like, no, I'm trying to talk to this girl. So you gotta be clever and skillful in the way that you bring it. You gotta bring it.
Hell yeah.
Can you discuss any super fan encounters that you've had? What is the number one A-Trak fan?
How about the guy that brought me flan last weekend?
Flan. Wow.
So I have there's a few running jokes in what I do if you follow me on Twitter. Lately, Juicero's been my Snapchat endeavor. I have a long love story with flan on Twitter.
Describe flan
Wait,
for the
have
people
you
who
ever
aren't
made
100%
flan?
familiar.
I've never made flan. My mom makes crème caramel, which is the French.
I tried to make flan in 6th grade for Spanish class. It's so hard to caramelize sugar in the pan to get that top layer. I couldn't do it.
Isn't it, Robesman?
Flan is the most random thing. My ex-boyfriend nicknamed me that, and I was
He
just
named you flan?
Yeah, and I was just like,
That was your
this
pet name?
is-
Leave him alone.
I can kind of see it. You kind of look like a flan, yeah. Because you're sweet. Because you're sweet.
Yo, someone said my hair looks like a choco flan.
I'm trying to figure out what is the definition of flan.
Flan,
though?
I mean, it's a Spanish egg-based
Yeah.
cake dessert thing, but also if you know creme brulee, it's like the creme brulee without the brulee.
Right.
It's just the non-burnt part. So here's the thing. One day, I was looking through my emoji.
It took me 3 tries to get the spelling right for the record.
FLAN.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was looking through my emoji and I noticed a thing. Through the corner of my eye, I see this beautiful little emoji and I'm like, is this flan?
It is, huh?
So I think I tweeted about it. I never realized there was a flan emoji. And then right that minute, I changed my Twitter name to flan emoji. And for a while, for a few months, I was flan emoji. And then, my Latin American fans were ecstatic. South America, Central America, they were very happy about it. And then people sometimes bring me flan at my shows. I just thought the emoji was funny, and I also thought that it would be a very funny Twitter name. And then one of my greatest trolling achievements was the Daily Mail actually referred to me as flan emoji once in running some sort of story about.
What they thought that was your actual name?
Yeah.
Prince had the
Flan
symbol.
emoji.
You had the flan emoji.
I wish they just
it
ran
was
this.
funnier than that. It was
It was-
fun emoji, a member of Odd Future.
Yeah. Yes. And they ran a photo of me wearing a dashiki.
You should link this in the description.
See,
Yeah.
you're a little too well established to change your name to just an emoji, but I would think that maybe you could sign someone with
Whoa.
Fool's Gold and that could be your tactic, right?
Yeah, has anybody changed their name to an emoji?
Hard
yet?
eyes emoji. That's my new recording name.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
Because
kinda
Prince
smart.
Prince became a symbol. Why can't you become an emoji?
A symbol is way harder to imagine that in the Google age. Google.
But are emojis Googleable? Googleable.
I think so. Because the other day I saw someone on Snapchat that was snapping someone doing the dictation thing over an emoji, and Siri actually says what the emoji is.
Oh yeah, they read it out loud.
I don't know how
Poop
I get
emoji.
hard eyes emoji on my computer. I could do it on my phone though, but
Yo, literally last week I figured out where the emoji are on the computer.
oh really?
Keyboard, yeah.
You could go just copy and paste it off Google too. That's probably what I would do.
No, but if you
Put emojis on your Wi-Fi network.
on the edit menu, there's a little special characters. right?
Okay,
There's a
so
thing that
flan
pulls it up.
emoji, hard eyes emoji. Mm-hmm. What are you gonna become?
The knife. It's a knife.
I'll be the CD emoji.
CD.
Wow, old school, nice.
I like that heart exclamation point. I don't know why.
Oh,
Which
The
one?
heart with the dot.
Oh, is that what that is?
I guess
I just
so.
thought it was a
what's
heart
up
with a dot.
What about when a girl sends you instead of a regular heart, she sends you the 3 little pink hearts? I'm like, what the fuck is that? What are you trying to tell me?
That means
here?
she wants anal.
Hey, you know what's like a slight diss is if you get there's a kiss that doesn't have like the little heart that comes. You know what I mean?
it's just like.
yeah.
Everyone
there's like a
interprets
pouty-
emojis differently. Like, oh,
Yeah.
is she dissing me?
It was
Yeah.
a weird point in my life when I realized that like young girls use emojis way more literally than I would have ever conceived them. That they're trying to write whole fucking sentences with them and shit.
Yeah, and then I just like to throw like a random one, and then if someone asks me what that means, I'm like, usually I'm like, I don't know if I can have a conversation with this person. Like if I like the surfer dude. Just if I don't know what to answer, I just put like
Swag
10.
surfing.
Yeah, I put 10 swag surfers.
A little
Or,
bit
like,
more abstract, like the dancing emoji, and it sort of
Yeah.
symbolizes like, let's go.
Yeah,
your phone.
I like the muscle guy. There's like the holding up the weight guy. I like the squid for some reason, like the little snake. And then people are like, ha ha ha. What does that mean? I'm like, I don't know.
Moving on.
That's tight. Hey, I have a question.
What's up?
Well, that might be kind of obvious that I have questions since we're doing a podcast, but R. Kelly is like 45 and he's now dating a 19-year-old. Could you see yourself dating a 19-year-old?
Nah, I'm 34 and I'm not gonna date a 19-year-old.
That would be too fucked up,
That'd be
or
weird.
just you don't think you'd have anything in common?
A combination of A and B.
Yeah. It's pretty sick that R. Kelly's still doing that shit, though, huh?
I mean,
You
what did
would-
you expect
you
from the
would-
guy who pees on a 15-year-old?
Yeah.
Hey, don't disrespect Robert.
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry.
He did it-
allegedly.
he dated Aaliyah when she was like underage too.
Yeah.
It's fire. Good for
Weren't
him.
they married?
Yeah.
Yeah, he married Aaliyah when she was.
married
He's
when
a
she was
political
underage.
prisoner, man. That's
Have you met
stand up
Robert?
for himself.
I haven't met Robert.
I saw him once in New York.
Really?
Robert.
How was it?
He had a weird hat too. It was yeah.
All right, I have
I
another
mean, he's not
question.
exactly
I'm
known
a,
for
I'm,
his
a, I'm a
style.
huge R. Kelly fan, and like I wasn't living in the U.S. when all like the you know the weird stuff happened. So like
You can just
never-
ignore it.
Yeah, I just feel the same way about him. I think he's a legend. I think he's awesome. I'll still play any of his songs.
Is there
Anything.
anyone that gets you starstruck in 2016?
Ooh, good question.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Erin Jeen, Robesman, Adam 22, Pedro.
Pedro Lives that fucking I go off for those. I've seen you play like 15 times. You play like 10 times.
Robesman in the house.
Special.
Super fan snuck
who
into the
15
interview.
times that is a super fan. That's worse than bringing him flan.
Flan. I don't think I get really starstruck. If I did get starstruck, it wouldn't be on some music shit. I don't know.
I think I've seen there was someone that we were both pretty excited about, and it wasn't on some music shit. It was just like
I don't know.
When was the last time you got starstruck? In the beginning, were you like, oh my god, I'm working with
Nah,
Kanye?
maybe you know what? Maybe the reason why I don't really get starstruck is I feel like if anything, it would have to be like some hot girl where I would suddenly turn into like a 14-year-old inside. That's probably like what would
You probably had some pretty hot girls though.
I guess, but like
Wait, can you say did you ever have like a celebrity relationship with another famous person?
That's what you need. You need like the Taylor Swift cosign so you can be on TMZ every day. Yeah, that'd be fire.
no.
Oh, he's blushing like he already did.
I'm gonna get killed now.
Pedro totally just gave his hand away.
That's so lit, dude. That's so tight.
It's probably not Taylor Swift, but it's like really
Confirmed
close.
dating.
I don't know.
Confirmed under
Yeah,
record.
confirmed dating.
Taylor, if you're watching, no jumper.
Cheating on Tom Hiddleston.
He's got a rascal vibe right now.
R.I.P. to
Well,
Taylor
rascal.
Swift t-shirts out now.
I'm thinking. I was just gonna say, I think part of the reason why I don't really get starstruck is like I literally met my heroes when I was 15,
Right.
and they were cool as shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm so thankful for that. Like, a
Right.
big part of what built whatever might be good about my character is the fact that I literally met my heroes when I was a wide-eyed teen, and I was like, oh, these guys are cool. And they literally like took me under their wing, and like these dudes would invite me to their house. I would go to New York, go to Rock Raiders' house, go to San Francisco, go to Kubert's house. All these dudes go to LA, link up with the Beat Junkies, Babu, and all these guys. And they would like come to Montreal and come, like my mom would cook for them and shit. And
Right.
these were my heroes. And that just kind of like, I mean, that sort of like brought down
Right.
Yeah,
You know,
saw eye to
that
eye.
thing. And also, it just kind of showed me that that's how people should behave.
You probably saw Kanye go from like a little famous to insanely famous too,
Yeah,
right?
definitely, yeah.
How was that? Was it weird just seeing the crowds get insane and the paparazzi and everything? Or
I don't know if weird's the word. I don't know. I don't really pay attention to fame.
right?
Like, I don't care for fame. I don't spite it either. It's just literally not on my radar. Like, I don't really pay attention to gossip. I don't know. I like cool shit. Like,
Right.
if, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't really register for me.
Have you ever been in the tabloids, part of like any gossip?
No, I don't think so. Only the Daily Mail for flan emoji. Yeah, not really.
I was just thinking, yeah, like you don't have like a personality that lends yourself to like being in like crazy controversial shit. I'm not sure I ever like heard you say anything problematic in the media ever, right? You don't really.
Yo, the only shit I talk about in the media is like, if anything, political shit that gets me, riled up. Like I'm just, trying to be righteous. But no, yeah, I'm not Mr. like, get in the fucking brawl at the bar or whatever. Yeah.
Holds you back. But it also,
yeah, Pedro holds me back.
well, you have such a good image that you've like done these like big ad campaigns with like Cadillac and fucking Adidas and shit like that. Like, is that like how the fuck do you end up doing an ad campaign for Cadillac?
I mean, I'm not sure how it happened. Usually, all these brands hire a marketing agency, and then the agency finds the talent. So the agency's job is to figure out an artist that kind of like stands for whatever the campaign is supposed to stand for. So someone will approach my management and be like, "Yo, we want A-Trak to be in this ad campaign for Cadillac."
Right.
Or yeah, I've done Adidas, I've done Grey Goose. Haven't done Juicero, guys. Call me.
Juicero.
You do Juicero on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Snapchat is basically
Unsolicited.
I like that you
But-
just brought the Juicero because a lot of people come out here and be like, they're not paying me. I'm not showing the bottle. I'm not showing
Yeah.
anything. You're like, fuck, I love this
They will pay
product.
us. They don't have another
Oh,
option.
they will.
Genuine passion. That's like me and WWE. WWE doesn't pay me.
You live it.
Yet.
Hey, I just realized
I
that
basically like lost an Adidas deal at one point because I used to wear Jordans so much, and then for the first like year or so, they were like, "Yeah, it's okay, just wear Adidas when it feels natural." And then after a second year, they're sort of like, "All right, this guy's just
Wow,
like not."
that's super
not
interesting because in
riding."
BMX and skateboarding, it's like if you're on Adidas and you wear Nikes one time, you're gonna be off the team and shit. They're
Yeah.
gonna fucking kill you for that.
In music, it's like
Yeah.
they try to be. I think there's such a like think about it like this. Like I remember a time when doing a project that's presented by a brand was inconceivable. It'd be
yeah.
some sellout shit. But then labels stopped making money, so branded projects became more of a viable thing, more of an acceptable thing. But I think there's always this mini little trauma in the back of people's heads of like, we don't want to be overbearing, we don't want to be forceful, we don't want to be, strong arming the artist. The artist has to stay authentic. Marketing people love saying authentic. It's an authentic experience at the activation.
Organic.
Activation.
Yeah.
It's organic. It was such an organic collab with
I
us.
met my ex at the activation.
Hey, I just realized that Chuck actually has to leave in about an hour. So
shit.
if we want to do the interview with him and A-Trak, we should probably
should do that.
sub him in, do his, and then maybe if we want to do more A-Trak, we could do
Whatever you guys want. And we
It's-
can mention that Chuck is playing Fool's Gold Day Off in LA as part of the Cool Kids reunion,
Oh, shit.
which is crazy.
I feel like
I'm gonna jump in the
a
crowd.
great marketing opportunity
fun?
for Fool's Gold would be to have both Robesman and Adam 22 vlog at such an event.
Yo,
I'll be
if-
vlogging
do
my
you guys
ass
want
off.
to do this?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
We vlog so inconceivably hard that, I think it's
Vlog so
we
hard.
vlog so
motherfuckers.
hard, yeah.
I'm subbing out.
Thank you so much,
gotta
Erin.
go.
I
Yeah.
gotta go.
I'm just
I gotta
gonna-
Erin's gonna be at
my
the New York Day
roommate's
Off.
dog. I was supposed to feed her and I
Oh.
didn't.
I'm just going to
I
press one button on the camera so that we can switch over to the
Yes.
next video. But A-Trak's going to co-host on the Chuck English episode too. So
Watch that one.
And it seems that because we just not even cover like half the questions that I've written down, so we should definitely
We're gonna keep
going
talking.
at some point. But either way,
All right.
stay tuned. No jumper. We're back. So for those out there who don't know, we just did an hour and a half or so with A-Trak, and then we did like an hour with Chuck English from the Cool Kids, who, even if you don't know about him, if you're an A-Trak fan, you should definitely check that shit out because we just had a great conversation about rap in general, and it was fucking great. So now we're back because we still had some topics that we wanted to cover. First question, just because I want to make sure it gets answered. A-Trak, Danny Brown's on your label. I'm a huge, massive fan of him. What can you tell me about his new project that's supposed to be coming out soon, and how involved were you?
Danny Brown. So I also am a big fan of Danny's.
You probably should be.
Right? I have to say, he's pretty autonomous with his recording.
Okay.
And even when I go back to, Triple X and some of his earlier recordings from a few years ago, at that time it was even more surprising. I mean, he was telling me then, like, yo, I get beats from guys off Twitter. And I was like, what? Really? Like, I'm still thinking in the mentality of, like, oh, you go to, like, some known producer and get beats. But he was just getting beats off of Twitter. And Danny's always been the dude that, like, where every album is a concept and he comes up with that concept. He's not someone who needs A&Ring. On the new album, we actually partnered up with Warp as well.
Mm-hmm.
So Fool's Gold's not the only label involved. So
And what is Warp?
Warp is a great record label.
Okay.
They've put out, you know, I want to say Aphex Twin to like Flying Lotus, like just a bunch of great, more experimental music out of the UK.
But is he going in like a different direction, sort of?
I mean, it's still Danny.
Yeah.
He played me a bunch of shit a few months ago, and actually I'm gonna see him next week, and they'll play me the update. But this album he pretty much did. Even the Warp guys didn't hear shit. His own management were just sort of like, hey, he's working. He is remarkable in the way that he has the vision for his music and just makes it happen.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Like some of the other projects, Triple X and old. Myself and Cash Subs would sort of help him, or just at least give suggestions of which songs to cut.
Right.
But I can't take much credit for, you know, those albums, the way they came together. Like literally we would just say like, you know, if you want us to choose our favorite 14 songs out of these 40, it's these ones. But ultimately, you know, he did the track order. He's very autonomous.
How did he end up getting signed to you guys? Did he reach out?
Kind of. It was an interesting situation. We kind of both like it came from both sides. I remember Nick and I saw an interview that he did. I think it was on the Fader. He didn't have the crazy hair yet. He had braids. So this was like hybrid era Danny Brown, and we're just like, this guy's cool. He was just this sort of anomaly. He did an interview where he openly talked about not wanting to get on the radio and liking independent labels. And I could tell in his music that there was, you know, being from Detroit, I'd be like, yo, this is like kind of post-Dilla, but he's also a gangster, but he also has this crazy voice. Like futuristic beats, but but like, what is it? You know?
10 crazy voices.
Yeah. So we wanted to sign him, and then we realized that at the time he was managed by a friend of ours who was not even really a music manager. He's kind of like a, you know, lifestyle marketing guy. And I was like, so Nick and I hit our boy up like, yo, are you managing this guy, Danny Brown? Because he's dope. We want to sign him. And our boy was like, yo, it's a trip you say that because Danny wants to sign, told me straight up he would only want to sign to either XL or Fool's Gold. And, you know, we approached him, so he signed to us. And it like literally like happened within a day or two from that conversation. We sent a deal memo and it was done. And then I remember he came to New York and he was opening up for Das Racist. They gave him a couple looks early on.
Oh, that's cool.
And he had just changed his hair and he was wearing like this crazy like dashiki kind of robe. And I was like, yo, this guy's like psychedelic or some shit. I like it. And then like, it feels like if anything, like in terms of Fool's Gold's role in Danny's artistic development, again, I really want to stress he's like, the dude is so visionary. He really comes up with this shit. But I do remember that when we initially signed him, it felt like that cosign, that's the confidence, the statement of confidence that we gave him by saying, we believe in you, we're going to put money behind you. He became superhero Danny that we all know. He was like, before that, he had, you know, wearing jerseys.
Was he a little timid? Do you mean that he didn't feel comfortable going the whole way in?
Yeah, I feel like he fully went weirdo Danny when we
Right.
signed him. And hopefully it's just because we gave him, you know, that statement of like, yo, we're behind you, do it. You know, like.
Because he has that amazing story about how he was rolling around with G-Unit for a little while.
Yeah.
And 50 told him to wear baggy pants.
Yeah, he has
I
an
think
album with
that's the
Tony
funniest thing
Yayo.
ever. Yeah, the
Yeah.
mixtapes with Tony are actually fucking good as fuck, too.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
guy's incredible though.
That's crazy. I love Tony. Yeah, I named my cat after him.
Great.
Yeah.
You should. And Danny was one of the, you know, he was one of the first recent rappers to break into the festival circuit too, and you know, have his touring model was very progressive, you know, and he was one of the rare dudes that would have like the Pitchfork audience, but also the, you know, the crackhead hood audience, but also like the rap audience too.
Right.
Like Sean Price was one of his bigger supporters. Actually, anecdote, and Danny knows this. Part of the reason I signed him also was from Q-Tip.
Really?
Because I saw that interview with Nick on Fader, and I was like, this dude's cool. And I was hanging out with Q-Tip one day, and I remember telling him like, he was like, who's some new dudes you're checking out? And I was like, I think I really like this dude called Danny Brown. I'm thinking of signing him. And right away he was like, yo, that dude's a beast. Do it. Sign him. And like we reached out. So Tib sort of gave me the official like, yes, do that thing that you're thinking of doing.
Right.
Yeah, which is cool. It's so cool.
Did you get a similar feeling from Danny that you got from Chuck English, who we just interviewed, like when you first met, where they just had this sort of like, you know, inexplainable cool about them, where they just had their own ideas sonically and just their own references that they were drawing from?
In different ways, though. Their personalities are very different.
Mm-hmm.
Danny's a little introverted. Yeah, you know, you can tell that Danny's like in his thoughts a lot. But maybe that's where the creativity brews. Chuck, as you saw, has a pretty easy conversation.
Yeah.
You know, and he's kind of an open book, and he's just sort of like, yeah, I make beats and I rap. Like,
Yeah. Can you take us back to that time period when you first like discovered him and saw what he was doing? Because
yeah,
pretty fascinating character.
yeah, and it's the same, you know, same era that I met Cuddy and all that shit.
Right.
So the early days of Fool's Gold were, you know, it was an interesting time and place because it really felt like Nick and I started having more serious and concrete conversations about launching a record label. And I remember kind of like having these conversations where we were like, you know, looking at like making a sort of like list of our friends around us and the amount of talent that was just like waiting for a label to present to the world was insane. Because we're like, I was working with Kid Sister, and then her brothers and Flostradamus was like, yeah, so we could start a label. I'll put out the shit that I'm producing with Kid Sister, and you know, then there's the Floss shit, and then Floss played me Cool Kids, and you know, like our friend Sammy Bananas, and then and then like it all kind of, you know, there was just talent all around it, and then
And were they all being ignored by the labels?
Yeah, I wouldn't say ignored. I mean, yeah, maybe ignored. Yeah, like literally, like, not ignored might even be the good word because majors were literally unaware. So we started Fool's Gold, and like in the first year, we put out all this music that had a pretty big impact and like really sort of galvanized the scene. And then there was a funny period when like A&Rs from majors would ask me and Nick to just come in for a meeting, and they would just sort of like ask us what's cool. They'd be like, so guys, like we wouldn't even like, we're walking like, why are we even sitting down here? Like, what's up? And they'd be like, so what are you guys listening to? And they'd be like, why do you want to know? You know,
did you know right away that like, oh, they're trying to use us for our ideas?
Yeah. So it'd be like, you know, we're just sort of.
You must have gotten major offers for Fool's Gold, right? I mean,
yeah, a couple majors wanted to do mergers with us, but I saw too many other labels, even in different genres and shit, that crashed and burned by, you know, as a result of doing joint ventures, you know, because suddenly you're just part of this machine that operates in a really different way. And it, you know, in the matter of a few months, the whole ship can sink. And
is the goal of Fool's Gold, though, to develop an artist to get them to a major or develop them to wherever they want to go?
Hell no. To the first question. No, to develop artists, period. Like we stand behind our artists for the long haul, for the long run.
But like,
we're not a springboard to get to a major.
If you have an artist who's like, I want to play stadiums, do you feel like they need a major to go to that route?
Well, put it to you like this. I think Fool's Gold is extremely nimble and like customizable. We don't have an exclusive distribution deal with any distributor. We use different distributors, both for physical and digital, for a bunch of our artists, whether it's hip hop, whether it's electronic, whether it needs a radio campaign, or whether it's just some weird like press up a 45 kind of project. If an artist was to really outgrow our reach, then we would just do a venture deal with a bigger label. But I know those. You know, I know those labels. I can just call them and be like, "Yo, do you want to partner up for so and so?"
Your label attracts the artists who want to stay in control of their creative process.
That too, yeah. I think a lot of artists know that when they come to us, we're not gonna try to shape them. I've had some conversations in the last few months with other artists who talk to certain labels that I won't name, but that aren't even majors, but just sort of like mid-size labels, where the A&R would try to really change the identity of the artist. And I was surprised. I don't know. I've never believed in that. I've never once told an artist like, get a makeover or like make a song that sounds more like so and so. It's more like we're just there to help the artist be the best version of themselves.
Totally.
Yeah. So we pick artists that we think have incredible potential, and we try to just nudge it in a good direction. So they'll send us a bunch of demos, and we'll say, this one's not so great. I know you want vocals on 4 of these, but you just need vocals on 2 of these. I'm gonna put in a call to get someone on this one. That one, work on the bass sound more, that kind of stuff. So we're not even the kind of label that, for the most part, sets up studio sessions for their artists. That's what majors do. Majors will be like, okay, cool, check it out. This week you're going in with that dude, he's a hit maker. And then next week you're going in with this dude, he's another hit maker. With us, it's like, you're great, do what you do. Okay, this is at like 90%. Why don't you switch that? And then we're going to get the best artwork for you, the best remixes, and we'll get the most influential people in the world to hear it.
Yeah.
Like a big part of what Fool's Gold does to our artists also is like the ears that we bring the music to,
Well, like it's got to be kind of hard though to be an artist running a label, because there's also times where an artist will come to you and be like, I got this idea for this video. It's going to cost $1 million, but hear me out, and you got to be like, we can work, you kind of got to talk guys down, right? Sometimes, or say no.
Yeah, you have to be able to say no, but I don't think that's the part of being an artist running a label that's hard. The hard part of being an artist that runs a label is balancing my time to make music with my responsibilities to Fool's Gold. Mm-hmm. That's the challenge for sure. And on the availability level, on an even like mental space level, on a stress level, just everything to, I have a responsibility to everyone on the label, and even to every employee, and to my partners, and to the whole fucking operation. I need to be available at least for certain hours of the day. But at the end of the day, I got to make sure that I make my music too.
I know Erin asked it, but is it like, how big is the label? Like 30?
Fool's Gold is about 10 people.
10 people, wow.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't fully answer her question. She asked about my team. I was starting to say there's my management, there's Fool's Gold.
Yeah, you're talking about your artist team, but for your label, it's 10 people.
Yeah, there's 10 people at Fool's Gold.
Wow.
Is it a tough business to be in? Like, could you see yourself considering it a viable investment if you weren't passionate about the music?
Investment, do you mean literally money-wise investment?
Yeah, like, is it really hard to be in?
Outside perspective.
Yeah, is it hard to sell music these days? Like, are you guys?
If it was an investor, if you
If you didn't give a shit about music, would you invest in your own business?
Good question.
I would invest in it for the thing about a company like Fool's Gold, and like the fact that it's run by people who are adverse to whackness, is like it's not going to lose money.
Right.
So I don't think Fool's Gold, to be transparent, is the kind of money where like the kind of company that will just necessarily turn around an insane profit every year, because we all know what the record industry is like.
Right.
But our cultural capital is insane. And I would invest in it just because I think that's where the future is.
It's just like, being a powerful brand name.
Yeah,
in the culture,
just knowing like at this point in time in 2016 going on 17, like that is so valuable. Like, any company that knows what's cool and that stays ahead of the curve, and that has a faithful audience, that's there's an insane longevity and growth potential in that.
Totally.
Yeah, there's some things money can't buy, and that kind of thing you guys built up is like, you can't purchase that. So I won't name names, but I know like a super powerful music manager who's been on like, meetings with billionaires who's worth 10 times as much as him, 100 times as much as him. And they look at him like he's a god because he has these artist ears. He can kind of, there's some things like you can give an artist how much money to come to wherever, but sometimes you're just going to get a no. You're just not going to do it, You're like, you're talking about creating culture and creating kind of that thing, the cultural capital. It's really interesting to me.
Yeah.
Can we talk about Leaf? I know you don't have time to talk about every single artist on your
Sure,
roster, but I really like her, and I
Dope,
just wanted
thank
to
you.
bring it up because I know that you've been pushing for her, like super hard.
Yeah.
Where did you encounter her, and what makes her special in your opinion?
I encountered her on the YouTube. Like literally, like I saw a video of hers, and then I was like, she's cool. And then I looked at her Instagram. I was like, oh shit, she has like her own brand. She was like already making clothes, and I liked who she was collaborating with musically too. So I reached out, and then we just made the deal happen. And I just moved to LA, and she was starting to spend some time here. So I remember we also hung out. We like kind of hit it off right away. So it just felt like there was like this trust relationship that was built pretty quick. A lot of times when we sign someone to Fool's Gold, that personal bond's important too.
Right.
Like I'll meet the artist, and like we gotta vibe. Like we gotta feel like we understand each
You
other.
seem pretty easy to get along with, but I could imagine that would be a big ass issue for a lot of people who have as hands on a role as you do.
What, in the sense that it spreads me thin, or what?
Or I mean, you seem easy to get along with, but
Yeah.
if you're trying to really be like a person who's like managing artists very closely, it's got to be tough. Like just to be
'Cause-
friends with everybody.
Yeah, in the sense that sometimes I gotta be bad cop. You mean?
Yeah, or just
Kind of, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I've never had a hard time just getting shit done, in a
Right.
sense. But Leaf, I just think that she represents so much of what's great about this generation, or the new generation, from her, versatility, the fact that she raps and sings and makes beats and makes clothes and is very opinionated and vocal in a great way, just like, very conscious of what people her age need to be concerned with, like, and anti sitting around doing nothing.
Right,
Like
yeah,
she
yeah.
preaches work, hard work ethic, basically, and how women should be viewed in the entertainment world. And yeah, just seeing how hands-on she is with everything from her artwork, her videos. She has such a good sense of vision. I think like that's what's cool about the generation that is post Tumblr, post Instagram, who has this sort of like sense of aesthetics and sense of hustle also.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that real important to you? That artist seems like really motivated to work. Like, is that kind of a hard thing to find?
I think, most artists are down to work. A lot of artists, certain artists, it's just hard to get them to finish shit.
Right.
But hey, I'm the same sometimes too, so I understand. But it's definitely, it's dope when you get these artists who like actually deliver a product. Who are like, hey, I have an EP that's done, and this is the theme, and you could just, then Nick and I get that on our plate. We're like, awesome, we can go to town with this. We're gonna like get this guy to do the art. We're gonna market it like this. That it, like, it's just like this fucking clay that we can mold,
Right.
Because there's other artists who might like, you don't hear from them for like 9 months, and then one day they're like, can you help me with ABCD? And you're like, oh, okay, sure. Like I like the ones that communicate well and that get shit finished.
Are there, at this point in your career, you've been on all these magazine covers, you did all these big tours, everything. Are there any like accolades that you could get that would actually matter to you, that you would like to like just be able to say you did when you're fucking 80?
Sure. I still I still feel like I'm not done, and look, put it like this, because I don't know if there's like, I can't really give you like a specific example aside from like, hey, I'd love to have a fucking worldwide #1 or some
Right.
shit, but like it's more about ever since I started my career, I've tried to like make my own path, right? Like, and the achievements that I am most proud of are ones that didn't even really exist until I did them. And I don't mean that in a boastful way, but like winning the DMC when I was 15, when no one was entering that shit in their teenage years, working with Kanye as like a white Jewish kid when like, and when by the way, most rappers weren't even getting DJs, period, let alone someone from another country.
Right.
Starting Fool's Gold at a time when the record industry was in shambles. duck sauce, getting like a weird, novelty / disco filter house record to top charts, like that kind of shit. Like I'm proud of achievements that are unlikely and that like myself and my team like just literally created. We're just like, we're gonna do this, and then people are like sort of, really? Okay, and then you do it. And so seeing the growth of DJing and the electronic music scene and industry in recent years, like seeing those so many doors continuing to open, and the shit is such a big arena now, and like our songs can go further than they ever did. Our tours can go further than they ever did. Our reach is further than it ever was. That just motivates me to just keep doing more, because I'm like, shit, now like with my next record, I could aim for something that wasn't even imaginable 5 years ago, 3 years ago. So I just want to continue.
Major Lazer had a worldwide #1, right? And they're bad decent.
And fucking independent. Yeah, exactly.
It's insane.
It's great.
That is crazy.
Your friend Diplo.
Close
personal friend Diplo, yeah. Very important. The one thing I have written down here that I just want to say is it really makes me mad that you had exposed breasts in the video for Push, because I got my YouTube channel, I got a strike, and I got my video deleted because of a girl like rubbing another girl's butt.
Really?
I'm not like mad at you. I was watching that earlier, and now whenever I see stuff that's like more offensive or more sexual on YouTube, I'm just like,
his is art, yours is porn.
You're right. It was
art.
It was really porny. It was really
It sucks that you
I was
got a
asking
strike.
for it.
Yeah.
It was like a girl like rubbing my dick through my like shorts. So you could kind of like, I don't know.
Picture his face right now.
I was really trying to push it right to the edge.
My video had a tiger,
It was
a
artistic.
squid.
Yeah.
Helicopter,
Yeah.
TM-88.
Yours felt like
88.
art. Mine felt like a porn.
Yeah.
So I'm not that
Felt
mad
like
about
someone
it.
feeling you.
All right, I have one. I wish I had asked this question earlier, because I feel like we're wrapping up by talking about you. But as a Canadian, how would you describe the impact that Drake has had on your country? Because you never saw a rapper get this big out of your country before him, obviously.
It's huge impact on Canada. I don't know, huge. And it was interesting because I was so active in the hip hop scene when I was coming up in Montreal, and I knew all the rappers and DJs and even graph writers in Toronto, in Calgary, in Vancouver, in Halifax, blah blah blah. And even when I left Canada, it was still the same people doing shit for a couple of years. Like Canada moves kind of slow. So even like I'm living in New York for 3 years, 4 years, I still knew the people coming out of Canada. And when Drake came out, is the first time where I was like, who's this dude that's doing dope shit that I don't know who's from my country,
First one that made you feel out of touch.
Yeah, I was like, I guess I have left for a few years now. But yeah, his impact's been huge, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he made the Raptors get to the playoffs.
You believe he like
Put the
instilled
team
that
on his
faith in
back.
them?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, that's good.
He played a huge part in that.
Right.
He just made the whole city excited about a basketball team.
Yeah.
Which is insane.
That is crazy. Well, how long you been in LA from Brooklyn? Or from
Almost
New
2
York?
years.
And are you sticking with it? Are you
Yeah.
married to it? Did you always kind of know it was going to go that way?
The way that I moved to LA is kind of the way that I moved to New York, which is like I went to LA and then pretty quickly I stayed.
Oh,
Same
just
thing
to
with
work
New
on
York.
some music or something?
Yeah, like when I moved to New York, I wasn't officially moving to New York.
Right.
I went to New York.
Uh-huh.
I was like, I'm gonna go there and spend a bit of time, and like, it's kind of better for my work, so I'm gonna spend a few months there, and then like, I just stayed for 8 years.
Right. And now you're out here and you got nice
Same thing with
weather
LA. I
and
was
you're
like,
never
I'm gonna
be
work
able
on music for 3 months, and then like, a few months later, I'm buying a house and shit.
Right.
I'm like, I guess I'm here now.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Fool's Gold Day Off.
Fool's Day. Yeah, we gotta talk about that. It was wild. This was a necessity that we did this second part.
Just say it.
Chuck English goes over here and gets me high.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
Chuck is dope.
Chuck is dope.
The Cool Kids reunion at Fool's Gold Day Off.
Yeah.
That's where the reunion is happening.
Yeah, their first official show.
Is that
Big.
exclusive?
Exclusive, and they'll play
Whoa.
unreleased songs just for Day Off.
Look at our publicist.
So
I'm gonna
like it.
send this
You
to
should
like.
be there.
I'm super down.
You
I'm gonna
should be
send
there.
But
this.
you
to
guys have an
iTunes.
audience that's outside LA too,
You
so
should be
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
everywhere.
Let's
so
go.
New York is August 20th.
Yeah.
With Joel Santana, Migos, myself, Lil Yachty, Gaslamp Killer, and a bunch of others, Dave East and more. Miami is September 17th with Joey Badass, Hudson Mohawk, myself, Made in Tokyo and a few others. No, Tokyo's in LA, sorry. LA, Mac Miller, Pusha T, Cool Kids Reunion, Oshi, who's
What's the LA date?
September 25th.
Okay, Oshi,
Yeah.
his friend.
He was at Lil Aaron's party.
He vlogged with him the other day. I saw.
Vlog.
Vlogging.
Let's
Here are my
vlog some
vlog.
flan. Can we vlog some flan?
Let's make flan. Next episode, let's make flan live on
Let's go.
camera.
Flans and vlogs.
It's so hard. It's so hard to make.
Yeah, it kind of falls apart, right?
Yeah, it's really delicate. It's an art.
Maybe
Talking
go
is an
on.
art.
we could take a class. Andy Milanakis takes mad cooking classes in Venice, and he invited me to go to like a dumpling making class with him one time. He's like,
that's dope.
he's like, it's 6 hours. I'm like, I was super down, but I had to do interviews.
You have to go.
That would be so fire, especially a flan class.
I would watch
In
6
Venice.
hours of Andy
Something I will
making anything.
never ever make outside of the class, probably.
You never tried flan.
No, I've tried it. I've seen the
Oh,
Mexican
okay,
spots
okay.
all the time. I used to buy it all the time.
All right, so day off.
Yep.
L.A.
Flan.
September 25th.
25th.
Yeah.
So it's just New York, Miami, L.A.
Yeah, this year we're doing 3 cities.
That's dope.
Yeah.
Because it used to
Be there.
always was it always just kind of what was the first Fool's Gold day off? It was like where was it at?
New York City Winery in Soho.
What year?
2010, I think.
Was that when Rocky came out? It was, right? Rocky, Juicy J.
No, our first year the headliner was like Pill and Yellow Wolf, Pill, and a couple other guys. Juicy J
Shut
was the
up,
second
Pill.
year.
I was there.
Yeah. At the Juicy
Yeah.
J one.
Are there going to be guys coming out at every one of them like special guests and
There's-
shit?
dude,
Expect
dude.
craziness.
The surprises are crazy. It's such like
I'm excited. Kanye's coming out. Sorry, I said it. I had to say it.
No,
Buy your tickets now.
No, but if you just really want to see some jiggy like dope shit,
Some
and
jiggy
just
shit.
get mind blown, like just you should just go. Like I've been to so many, and working so hard, and there's just like a moment that like I just sit back and like watch what's going on. I'm like, this is part of fucking history. Like I remember last year, I was just like literally having a conversation with Cam and Jada. I think Jada Kiss was there.
The last played, yeah.
In a conversation, and Dame. Yeah, we were like the three of us just talking, and I'm like,
Just
yo,
homies.
I'm like, I was what 21.
Couple of
not
homies
22
hanging out.
at the time, and like from Brazil, and just like talking to these three dudes that like always like just looked up to,
Yeah,
and it was like, wow, okay, this is pretty
that's so
amazing. And it's like everyone's just there hanging out. There's just like this family like good vibe. Like there's never been like a fight at a day off event. It's
Yeah,
just, like,
I've been
a
to them.
good
They're
vibe.
chill.
And it's just
I love it.
Just entertainment and fun and just art that you should just go.
Yeah, I feel like in LA always embraces those kind of events. Like day off and the Mad Decent Block Party are two of my favorite days of the year because they're just like it's just like family coming together and hanging out, listening to music.
because we put this shit together ourselves.
Yeah, that's so dope. We got to go.
Keep
You're
it
coming.
short.
I'm definitely.
You guys are vlogging.
We're vlogging. We're vlogging.
You're never done.
Souvlaki.
I'm putting Diplo in the title no matter what.
Yeah, let's do it. On the like little what's that called? The tags.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
hashtags.
You got to sneak in every single little last bit you can. Yeah.
Sick.
You should just like
SEO
trying to
gods.
get people to believe that you're Diplo.
Oh,
Yeah.
I certainly.
The funny
I believe
thing
I
is,
am. In many ways, I
traveling with
believe I am.
Pedro is like a lot of my fans think that he's someone that they know.
He's Marshmallow.
I was about to say something, but I honestly like.
Some people think he's my brother. Some people think he's Boys Noise once. Just
Boys
basically like
Noise,
anyone with dark hair.
Alesso.
Anyone with dark
Pedro
hair.
gets hella girls though, right?
No, I don't.
I know one.
I seem really adamant about
That was quick. He's like,
I
no,
can-
I don't get girls.
Never gotten laid.
I just live I'm a single guy. I just
Yeah.
live a single life. I try to.
I'm a single guy. I live a single
No,
life. I put my dick in all
but
kinds of
single,
stuff.
But I'm saying a single life. I try to just.
I thought single life
keep it as
meant getting
low-key
a lot
as
of girls.
possible.
Okay.
I try to focus on myself.
I take that back. He, doesn't get
values.
girls.
He's a nice boy, girls.
Nah.
Ladies, hit
Are
him
you?
up.
He's really a nice boy, so this isn't an act. He is that.
Yeah.
Actually, I got something interesting to tell you after this.
Okay.
Well,
Thanks.
I guess I'm not a nice boy. But I'm
No, it's a nice boy thing. Everything's nice.
You guys are Eskimo brothers?
No. I'll tell you after this.
Okay, I'm not gonna push this.
Check the vlog for the full story.
Check the vlog.
Oh my god, I can't believe this.
Actually, I just
it's
wanted
like
to say something just about this whole like LA shit, like in 2016, and like when you guys started talking about like when you started No Jumper, and I was watching this TED talk once about like how timing and
any creation is like the most important part of it.
Yeah.
And like
And
just
undercredited.
and like just how, you know, like what you've done here, and it's like the perfect timing too. It's like LA is just like this hub for like culture and like creativity, and you started this at like a perfect, you know, time, and I think that's awesome. And I've been checking for a minute. Like you interviewed a couple of my homies. And,
Who else?
Interviewed Ian and Shane.
Okay.
And, you know, some other people.
That was huge. That was the biggest one for us at the time. Exactly it was crazy.
That's what like made you like.
And that was what's so random about it is that people are all like, "Oh, how the hell did you get Ian Connor interview at that time?" Obviously now everybody has something to say about Ian or whatever, but it was literally just my friend who rides for my BMX company just so happened to be good friends with Shane from high school, and he was just like, I just hit him up, "Hey, can I get that interview?" And he was like, "Yeah, they want to do it in 3 hours," and I'm like, like, all right, fine. Like, normally you have that nice period where you get to be real nervous and excited for something, and I didn't get that at all before that one.
Remember when you had the Juicero?
Yeah.
Wow, the Juicero. Let's talk about Juicero.
Let's put the Juicero definitely in the tags.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
That's good.
Are you an investor in the Juicero? No, okay. I'm certainly actually.
No, we're going to call this the A-Trak X Juicero interview.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
so my pitch
is
to
cool.
Juicero is like, you don't have to pay us. Just give
The
us
packs.
Just give me a
stocks.
second machine so I can
Stocks.
give Pedro one.
I
Well,
want to get paid in stocks.
yeah, they do this stuff like that all the time.
All
Like
the time.
celebrity investors for brands,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, why not? Makes sense to me.
Let's do it.
I mean, this is
Let's get it.
priceless advertising.
About to get rich off that juice money.
If Juicero had
Juicero.
paid for it, 6 figures, easy. Just want to throw that out there. All right, so do you want to give any thanks? Anybody that any other things we should know about?
Any plugs?
Shout out to the youth. Shout out to everyone watching this. Shout out to my mom.
Shout out to Pedro.
Shout out to Brazil. Shout out to the Olympics.
Shout out to Brazil.
Shout out to A-Trak. I never call him that. And thank you.
I like Pedro doing this.
Pedro snapped. He just killed it. Pedro.
Shout out to everyone with personality and just, you know, independent, like thinking people.
Look at that.
That-
Killing it.
Just so thankful.
Just do what they. Yeah, I live in my life in a very like positive manner. Even like horrible things that happen or bad things that happen in my life, I just take the best side of that, and I think that, you know, like there's an experience and you can learn from anything and grow from anything, and I think that's important. Just like, because I know that your audience is so young, and that some of them like they don't know what they want to do with their lives, and like
Oh, they don't know
anything is like literally anything is possible. Like I come from Brazil, like, you know, I was like a young kid, you know, fucking dreaming of shit, like trying to make beats, and, you know, started DJing when I was young and just really into music, like literally like rap raised me, and then like I'm, you know, here now, like nowadays, and like hanging out backstage at Coachella with Jay-Z, and Snoop pulls up and Diddy pulls up, and like they're like, you know, dapping me and talking to me, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, he's from Canada, so you're both from third world countries.
Yeah,
Exactly.
basically.
Shout out to
Also,
Pedro. Shout out to Pedro, by the way.
I might have something coming out on Fool's Gold very soon.
Ooh, I was gonna ask about the Pedro project.
Yeah.
Pedro
So
project.
all your favorite SoundCloud cool rappers and some that you wouldn't expect might be on it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a, you know, a curation of like me producing and co-producing stuff, and, you know, trying to A&R a great project, because I feel like we live in an era where like projects are, you know, it's very hard to come up with a project as a single artist. So I feel like someone like that just has a vision to curate something and just get people together, it's easier in a way and more acceptable.
Right.
You know?
So you're trying to be DJ Khaled.
Aren't we all?
Aren't we all?
Exactly. It's just, but maybe for like, you know, the SoundCloud generation.
I feel you.
The number of parties that Pedro has gotten me into in LA without even probably knowing it, because I just show up with like girls that he knows, you know? Like they're like Pedro's got
I don't
us.
know
So
any
I'm like,
girls, so-
he doesn't know any girls. So whatever. But
No, I don't
Pedro's
get
got us.
girls.
I have never
don't get
gotten
girls.
pussy. I swear I hang out with A-Trak every day, and there's never been any runoff. All right, so A-Trak, thank you very much. Obviously, check out Fool's Gold Records website. Check out Fool's Gold Day Off. Check out.
And you should plug the website, fgdayoff.com.
Yes,
For
To
your
buy
tickets.
your tickets, to see the lineup.
This guy's
you know?
on it.
heavy shit going down.
No, let's talk about this. All right, Joel Santana is playing in New York. If you're not
Hey,
there,
hey.
you are tripping.
Jewels and Migos on a heliport in New York.
Wow.
Our show is on a heliport. There
Really?
you go. He had to
Right by the West Side Highway?
on the east side.
Oh.
East side. Are you coming in on the chopper?
Are you coming? That's the
chopper.
question.
Sure, I love New York. I gotta go back. Yeah.
Have the chopper hover and then rappel down before your set.
Rappel?
Yeah,
Rappel.
like put the rope down.
Oh, yeah.
Rope, you say?
Rope gang.
All right.
What's Rope King?
It's a knife.
Rope gang is just what the fans started calling themselves in the comments. They just all started calling rope gang because
I thought it was rope. Like
well,
rope.
no, that's unrelated. No, we were interviewing Dylan Francis and Getter for some reason was like making fun of Dylan Francis, and he was like, "Yeah, Dylan had to get a whole new couch because there was so much cum on it," and he was like, he was dumping out a whole jug of rope, and I just started laughing so hard, and we might have even said like, "Hey, comment rope in the comments," and then it just took on a life of its own. How internet kids sometimes do.
The kids are wild.
You know those
Talking on
EDM
the
fans.
internet? Y'all, if you tweet on Instagram, shouts out to you.
All right.
We're done.
A-Trak, thank you very much. Pedro, snap it at the end. Thank you.
It's like if you watch this for 2 hours, you deserve this.
Thank you. Hey, wait. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this or not.